All right, everyone. Today we're going to be doing the first lesson of the prose project, which is going to be about writing narrative stories. So, today we're going to first talk about what a narrative story is, then we're going to go over some key vocabulary that relates to narrative stories, and then we're going to look at an example. So, a narrative story is a story that is true or made up, long or short, but all narrative stories have characters, a setting, a problem, and a solution. So they can vary a lot and can be very different in many aspects, but they must have characters, a setting, a problem, and a solution. So what is a narrative story? A narrative story is something that answers the question, what happened? It has three main parts: the beginning, the middle, and the end. So, in the beginning, we talk about who is in the story, where are they, what is normal life like. We establish the baseline for what the story is going to build off of later on. Then, in the middle, we have a conflict, we have a problem. Something goes wrong, and something is different from what it was like in the beginning. And at the end, the problem is solved or something changes. We see a resolution, which we'll talk about in later lessons. So now let's go over some key vocabulary. So we have four main vocabulary words that we should try to understand when we're thinking about narrative stories. The first is character. A character is a person or sometimes an animal in a story. The character is the person, animal, or thing that does something, that is acting in the story. Now, setting. Setting is where and when the story happens. For example, on a cold winter day in September or in the year 2011. Then we have conflict, and the conflict is just the problem in the story. It is what happens when something goes wrong. Now we have the resolution, which is how the problem is solved. What did we do? What did the characters do? What happened to fix the problem that was presented by the conflict? So now we're going to look over a quick example. So this is our example short story. We have one day, Maria lost her phone on the way to school. She felt scared and didn't know what to do. After class, she retraced her steps and finally found her phone in a puddle near the bus stop. She was wet but very happy. So, this is a very short narrative story. But even though it is short, we can still see each one of our four vocabulary words in this story. We have our character, which is Maria. We have the setting, which is on the way to school. The conflict or the problem is that she lost her phone. The resolution is that she found it again. Now, this story is short, so it's very simple. The setting is simple, the conflict is simple, the resolution is simple. But in longer stories, we would have more details for each one of these parts. Perhaps it's on the way to school on a sunny day in September or something like that. Normally, in longer stories, we would have more details to make the story feel more alive. So that is it for our first lesson. The homework assignment is detailed on Canvas, but this is just going to be a quick assignment to get you thinking about narrative stories. You're going to think about one that you already know about. It'll be under the assignment called A Story I Know. Thank you all for listening, and I hope to see your work, and I'm looking forward to reviewing all your work.